Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. And our top story today, if you aren't aging, you're not living. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Connie Michaelis is with Just Now Old Enough. Connie, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and look, I think this is a great article that you wrote about how we view aging. And, I'll let you talk about the article, but, so many people look down upon themselves as they're aging. And, I want to be younger. But I got to tell you, I think people need to, and I think you say this, you want people to embrace their aging because it's a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, I am getting older, a lot older.
All of us are.
So, yeah. And I'm definitely in the second half of my lifespan, maybe in the last quarter of my lifespan. So I'm particularly embracing this for my own life. But I'm also a voice that says aging is a wonderful thing. And if you're aging and you're getting older, you're winning the game. You're not losing anything. I started that article out by quoting a Facebook post that somebody put up that I thought, my God, I should have written this. And if you don't mind, I'll read it. The quote
Yeah, go ahead,
said,
shoot.
I've never understood people being ashamed of their age. It's like it's some sort of failure. Every damn number should be celebrated. And if it's a high number, you're winning, not losing. That is my motto of life, Jeff. You're winning.
That is so powerful. And look, you and I were joking off camera about the movie Fried Green Tomatoes, which stars Kathy Bates and other characters. But I was reminded when I read the article about the spat she had with the younger lady about a parking space. And some of the viewers probably know what I'm talking about. And she basically said she rear-ended the woman or front-ended, whatever she did. And she said, lower car insurance premium. And that is part of the perks. I guess the takeaway is it's the experience. You have so much experience, and that experience can be leveraged in so many different ways.
Exactly. That is the one thing that you cannot get when you're young. Yes, you could have a mature way of looking at life, but the one thing you really can't get is all the experience that we get. It takes days and days and days of life to get the experience. And we're all going to have different experiences, so that's okay. But it is like fruit that's ripening. It just gets better because of the age, like fine wine, or it's the process that gives us wisdom is what we want out of this.
Absolutely. And you make a really good point. You can't train experience. I mean, I've trained, you can give people the nuts and bolts, the basics, but you have to go through a lot of failures. And I can tell you, I can count on both hands, both feet, and then some of my failures. But right. You have to look at those failures as lessons. And look, I think as you age, you take those lessons and hopefully learn from them and adapt your own behavior. And I think that's why people need to embrace this journey. Exactly.
The Western culture is particularly cruel about aging. Around the world, this is not true. My Chinese buddy, he told me, he lived in a household with 3 generations, and his grandmother was the most revered and the influencer of the household. It's just something that we don't do in America anyway. And it's time for that to change, at least to mellow into understanding the value. And all of us baby boomers, good grief, in essence, we're going to demand that there are changes.
Yeah, and you talk about culture, and I want to go, my last question before we go to a commercial break. It used to be in America, like in other cultures, that families were closer together, and grandparents, I mean, I can remember growing up, my grandparents were always around, but grandparents sometimes lived with their children who took care of them, and that was the role and responsibility to take care of the elders. But now, look, we're all socially distant. Before it was in to be socially distant, we're all on the computer, spread across the 4 corners of the country. That culture has really shifted, unfortunately.
It really has. You know, Jeff, my entire career has been spent working with seniors. I mean, in hospice, durable medical equipment, retirement living. So I kind of figured up one day, at least 7,000 seniors, elders
Wow.
with their families. So my lessons I've learned have been from that experience. And you're absolutely right. The kids call me, the adult children call me, and they have no idea the situation of their parent because they live 2,000 miles away. They're not in daily contact. They're not seeing a decline that is happening. So yeah, we're really disjointed in this day and age.
Well, we are. Connie, as I said, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, more with Connie. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're joined this morning by Connie Michaelis of Just Now Old Enough. Well, Connie, thanks so much for staying with us this morning. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Fun.
Well, Connie, I want to kind of pivot off of what you were talking about towards the end of this segment about the importance of experience. And let's talk a little bit about ageism and the workforce. And case in point, a lot of people, mature people, are going back to work, and maybe they're doing something a little bit different than they were doing before, or maybe they're not. But that experience really is beneficial for an employer when they're constructing their teams of the future. Right.
You know, one of my favorite buddies and authors, Chip Conley, wrote the book Wisdom at Work. And it is precisely about that topic of the value of bringing and having in the teamwork both a mentor, and then the mentor is learning new things about the young people at work, and the young people are learning things from the older people at work. It's a beautiful idea. It needs to be the way things are done on a regular basis. It's kind of a new concept, and I did read recently that 2/3 of all of the new entrepreneurs, new businesses being created today are baby boomers.
And retirement, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I'm just going to say, you've got people retiring from a traditional retirement and then starting the business that they've always wanted to do, their passion.
I think that retirement, that's a redefinition of retirement. I mean, so many of us have this image of sitting on a rocking chair with the grandkids or playing golf, and maybe you do a little bit of that, but I think people today, first of all, we're living a lot longer.
Absolutely.
We've got much better medical care than we ever have, and people want to try different things. I mean, if you think about it, you only have one life, as far as we know, depending on what you believe, but you want to make the most out of that one life and as much time as you have.
Right. Well, we have approximately 30 more years of life than we did 4 decades ago. Okay. We've got lots of time. And one of my mottos and everything that I write about is you've got to not just plan for the future as you do in retirement planning, finances, estate planning, your funeral plan, et cetera, et cetera. You've got to plan for a future. And there's a big difference. Plan for the future, get your act together, but then plan for a future. What am I going to do with the next years of my life? And, you've got to be in the game and thinking curious and creative, because that's the person you are. Just because you're older, that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And, but I believe that we have to give ourselves permission to do that. If you're looking for society to give you that permission, you're going to wait a long time. So I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right on that. I think there are just some cultural mores, to use a word I learned in college and I haven't used since. There are cultural, truly. I also took French for 6 years and I've never used that. But there are cultural mores that just exist, but you don't have to necessarily follow them. I'm not advocating for not following laws. There's a difference between mores and laws. But you can, just because it's done a certain way and has been done a certain way with tradition, doesn't mean it has to be done that way with you. And I think applying yourself to a new vocation, maybe volunteering, maybe learning to play music, maybe working for a baseball team if that's what you always dreamed of doing. Now's the time to do it, and you shouldn't let anything get in your way to do that.
And you have a lot of freedom now to do just that. And it's really a personal decision. I know there's a lot about ageism that we're reading, and it's real. It is a real phenomena. But we elders have to be the ones to give ourselves permission. We can't wait around. And so we take our responsibility. And if I want to try something new, what the heck if I fail? It's just one more experience along the way.
Yeah.
And,
well, I certainly think that ageism is closed-mindedness, because I can tell you, number one, just going back to our first segment, I talk to my parents several times a day. Fortunate to have them around, but I'm fortunate to learn from them. And hey, look, I don't know everything, and I can benefit from them. So I think that I think you kind of have to break it, get rid of those traditions, don't let it bog you down, and do what makes you happy, as long as it's in the law. Connie, we're going to have to leave it there. Great to see you. Great article. Great Facebook post. We look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I enjoyed it.
That wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news in lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, entertainment, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content? We'll visit our website and, of course, our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts. so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.